So be honest, how often are you looking at competitors' channels and you're thinking to yourself, man, how are they growing so quickly and what am I missing? It's a deeply frustrating question to be asking, no doubt, but it's also a very human question. And I think humans are just hardwired to always be comparing ourselves or trying to understand our status relative to others. But I would say on YouTube, this instinct is awful. It can wreak havoc on our channel. It can kill our creativity, drain our focus, and it's not good. And so we've all heard the adage, comparison is the thief of joy. I would go a step further and say it is also a trap and one that we must escape. And so in today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about some tools and some mindset shifts that you can make to stay more focused, have more clarity, stop comparing yourself, and to grow sustainably on your own terms. So let's talk about the comparison trap for a minute. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're on YouTube, you're doing some research, you're looking at your competitors, and you start to see that their thumbnails are just so clean and they pop. And then you watch a video, their delivery, their editing, their storytelling is just so much better than yours. There's no doubt they're growing quicker. But then you look at their old videos and you realize, oh shoot, they started way later than me. So what am I doing wrong? You start to spiral a little bit of self-doubt creeps in. You start to question the whole dang thing. And yes, early on in my journey, that was me. I did a little bit of that. And even though I was really happy with the progress that I was making, I always had this nagging voice that I was just a little bit behind. But here's the truth. Comparison will kill your creativity and motivation quicker than any algorithm ever can. And so if comparison is a trap, then how do we escape? I maintain that you have to stop playing other people's games and start playing your own game by competing with yourself. So when I made the shift a few months ago, I think I started to feel a little bit lighter because I started asking different questions. Instead of why am I not growing as quickly as this creator, I started asking, what am I doing that's making me better this week from last week? What steps have I taken to set myself up for more long-term success? And that's what prompted me to create my victory log. The victory log is just a simple way of tracking progress on things that actually matter to you. So instead of obsessing or wasting time thinking about another channel that may be growing more quickly than yours, which is really something you can't control, I started logging all of my wins, my milestones, my breakthroughs, and any habit that I could control. So simple things like publishing 10 videos, or hosting 5 community group calls. Maybe it was finishing a module in a training, or even reading a book a month. Now, in the grand scheme of things, each of these little milestones is really of no consequence, and it doesn't get you that much closer to your goals. But here's the reminder. A grain of sand on the beach is also of no consequence, but when combined with many others and molded in a certain way, that's when something magical starts to emerge. So these are my small, meaningful wins that I revisit every few weeks to keep me grounded on my own progress and not focused on anyone else's. And most importantly, these also help to remind me that I am improving slowly, steadily, and sustainably, even if I cannot see it in the moment. If you don't have a victory log yet, get one. You can grab my free template in the description below, or you can just make your own. It doesn't really matter. The point is to have a place where you can see your progress over time. Because remember, you are entitled to feel good and find joy in everything you accomplished. So maybe make it a habit a couple times a month, check your victory log, because you owe it to your past self to reflect on all of the work that they have done. Don't let it go underappreciated because you've come so far already. Now, if you're just starting out or you're trying to refine your rhythm, I did include yet another document in the description below. It is my 7-step guide to help you build momentum without burning out. So if that's interesting to you, check the link in the description below. And by the way, this guide exists for one reason, and that's because YouTube isn't something you can master in a weekend. It's not a race. It's something you stick with, grow into, and even build over time. And once this clicks with you, you then become ready to play the infinite game. So this idea of the infinite game comes from a book that Simon Sinek wrote, and I'll actually put a link for a talk he did in the description below. You can check that out. He explains that a finite game, a game like football or chess, is one that has fixed rules, a set time frame, and clear outcomes, meaning winners and losers. But in an infinite game like YouTube, there is no clear finish line. The game just goes on forever as long as there are players willing to play. New players will join when they muster the will to start, and existing players will drop out when they lose the will to continue. YouTube is nothing if not an endurance test. a test of willpower and determination. And this one mindset shift has really changed how I think about my role here on YouTube. I stopped chasing short term views and instead started focusing on simply staying in the game. YouTube rarely rewards the fastest. It's those who keep showing up that find a greater likelihood of success. It's not about winning or outperforming everybody else. It's about lasting long enough to have the impact that you actually want to make. So here's what I've learned about playing the infinite game for a little while now on YouTube is that the longer you stay in, the clearer your purpose becomes. So double down on your mission, not your metrics, not your competition, but your mission. And for me, that clarity came when I got a message from another creator on YouTube. They told me that one of the videos I posted last fall was the catalyst for them to start their channel. You see, they were in their 70s and they were having a hard time getting started. They didn't have the courage to do it. And one of the things I said in one of my videos resonated, and they decided to pull the trigger, start their channel, and started sharing their message. And that's when it clicked for me that I'm not here to impress people. I'm not here really even for myself. I'm here at the service of others and to serve as many people as I'm uniquely capable of serving. Our friend Simon Sinek would call this your just cause. And this is essentially the guiding mission or North Star from which all of your decisions are made regarding your channel. And he would call it a ideal that is so noble or just that for all practical purposes, it'll never be achieved in your lifetime, but you will die trying. And when you become so bought in on your own mission, your own just cause, then everything else that everybody is doing by comparison just falls away and becomes completely meaningless. It's almost like it lets you put blinders on to stay focused on what's in front of you only. Because at that point, you know exactly what matters to you and why you're here. Now, even when you're clear on your mission and your purpose, there are still ways of comparison to sneak in, especially when you see somebody doing what you want to do and doing it really, really well. And that's when you need to turn your competitors into your worthy rivals. So Simon Sinek talks about worthy rivals as people who force us to level up, not because we're trying to beat them, but because they show us what our gaps are and they show us what's possible. And when you turn your competitors into your worthy rivals, you'll stop asking questions like, how come they're so much farther ahead of me? And instead you'll start asking, what can I learn from them? Their videos, their branding, their thumbnails, their editing, their workflows. It's all data. It's all insights. And our competitors hold up to us all of the things that they have that we do not, and they make us feel bad about that. But our worthy rivals, on the other hand, they hold up to us a mirror showing us exactly who we are and what we might become. And when we reframe comparison in this way, where we treat it less like a scoreboard and more like a free mentorship, we start to feel less threatened and more empowered. Because your rivals aren't there to beat you, they're there to sharpen you. So let me leave you with this. You are not behind. You are just on your own timeline. And your only real competitor is you from last week. And the truth is, most people will quit YouTube. And it's not because they lack potential or skill. It's just that they lose track of why they even started to begin with. They get distracted by the numbers like I do, or they get discouraged by looking at their competitors, or they just find themselves following another YouTuber's path and not carving out one of their own. When you focus on your own growth, your own progress, your own mission, that's where the fire comes from. And that's what keeps you going and helps you to stand out. And that's when people really begin to start showing up for you. So take a moment and zoom out and ask yourself this question. What if I just kept going? Because the creators who win on this platform are the ones who refuse to play anyone's game but their own. And if you're the kind of person that prefers the support of a like-minded, hardworking community of content creators, check the link in the description for my free school community below. But if you're ready to take it up a notch and work with a dedicated YouTube coach, check the Calendly link below, book a free 15-minute consult with me, and I can help you get on your way. And then finally, if you are stuck and you have this nagging voice telling you that you don't belong or you're not good enough, watch the video right over here on imposter syndrome so that I can help you overcome these limiting beliefs and get you on your way.